Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. So, we'll start with the next topic, the new topic, interactive debugging system. We're going to start with interactive debugging system. What is an interactive debugging system? An interactive debugging system, it provides programmers with the facilities that aid in testing and debugging of programs. So basically, നമ്മൾ ഏത് program എഴുതിയാലും before deployment of the program, what is important? You need to test your program. ടെസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് നമ്മളെ പ്രോഗ്രാം എത്രമാത്രം ആക്യുറേറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് റൺ ചെയ്യും. മോസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ കമ്പനീസ് ദാറ്റ് റിക്രൂട്ട് students for their employment, what they do is they give them a code. ഒരു കോഡ് കൊടുത്തിട്ട് they give a question to them, they ask them to write a program. And എന്താ ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ they have got some set input. Okay, കുറെ ഒരു set of inputs ഉണ്ട്. ആ ഇൻപുട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ എഴുതുന്ന പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ എക്സിക്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി നോക്കും. Now, if they get the correct output, they say that your program is correct. That is, it can run for any type of data. So that is what they have tested your program. Now, while you perform a testing, after writing a program, you perform a testing, what happens is you will find errors in it, isn't it? You will find errors in it. So, our errors എന്താണ് എന്ന് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുന്നതാണ് debugging എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. You're trying to find the error, you're trying to find what the error is, and you're trying to rectify that error. That system is said to be called as debugging. Many systems are available during these days which are meant for debugging. It is like it's something which is a very broad topic, so we'll be talking, we'll not be going for a particular system, we'll be just generally talking about this interactive debugging system. So we discussed three things here. First, we introduce the important functionalities and capabilities of your interactive debugging system, which is called as IDS. I'll be saying IDS, so you have to understand that IDS stands for interactive debugging system. Now, what is the relationship of your interactive debugging system to other parts of the system? Okay, and lastly, your debugging methods. So debugging functions and capabilities. One important requirement of any IDS or interactive debugging system is unit test functions, which is specified by the programmer. So that is when you are writing a program, you have several modules, isn't it? So അതിന്റെ കുഞ്ഞു കുഞ്ഞു unit നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? We perform test, okay, just to see whether it is working correctly or not. Such functions, they deal with execution sequencing, which is the observation and control of the flow of the program execution. That is, നമ്മളിപ്പം കുറേ set of ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ കുഞ്ഞു കുഞ്ഞു modules ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പ്രോഗ്രാമിനെ ഡിവൈഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് നമ്മൾ ഓരോ മോഡ്യൂൾ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ ഇല്ലേന്ന് നമ്മൾ നോക്കും. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് അതിന്റെ കറക്റ്റ് പ്രോപ്പർ സീക്വൻസിൽ തന്നെയാണോ അത് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ കണ്ടീഷൻ കൊടുത്താൽ whether if you have an if else statement ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ do while statement ഉണ്ടോ, അപ്പോൾ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷൻ കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ whether that loop is getting executed or not, അതൊക്കെയാണ് ഇവിടെ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. The program may be suspended after a fixed number of instructions are executed. You may be seen that നമ്മൾ ചില ഇതിലെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് ബ്രേക്ക് പോയിന്റ്സ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുത്ത് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് പ്രോഗ്രാമിംഗിൽ. നമ്മൾ ബ്രേക്ക് പോയിന്റ്സ് എല്ലാം കൊടുക്കുമ്പം ഇപ്പോൾ even if it is a program which is set to consist of more than 100 lines of code, if I give a breakpoint at line number 10, എനിക്ക് first 10 lines എൻ്റെ program execute ചെയ്തിട്ട് അവിടെ നിൽക്കും. It will not execute the remaining say 90 lines, അത് execute ചെയ്യത്തില്ല. First 10 lines മാത്രമേ execute ചെയ്യത്തുള്ളൂ. Okay, only the first 10 lines will be executed. And after the execution of the first 10 lines, I'll be able to find out whether there is any error in my program. I try to find whether there is some problem. So that was about having breakpoints in your program. Now, debugging systems, they should also provide functions such as tracing and traceback. Okay, you should also have functions such as tracing and traceback. Tracing can be used to track the flow of execution logic and data modifications. So when I talk about this tracing in the പറയുമ്പം ഒരു simple ഒരു example നമ്മൾ എടുക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ A simple example for tracing, if I say, you must have done in a data structures പഠിച്ചപ്പം, what did you study in data structures? You had studied some code, or you can say C language പഠിച്ചപ്പം നിങ്ങൾ എന്താ ചെയ്തത്? For I is equal to 1, I less than 3, or I plus plus. Okay. Now, in the case of your C plus plus ആണെങ്കിൽ, you will give C out of I. ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ line of code കൊടുക്കും. So what do? You're tracing your line of code. That is for I is equal to 1. I is less than 3. Yes, you're printing the output as 1. When your I is equal to 2, your I is less than 3.
Anandan is outside.
Okay, so here what happens? Okay, so what did we try to do? I is equal to 1, I less than 3, then I is equal to I less than 3. Again, we go increment I value, I becomes equal to 3, and I is less than 3, no. So you are not going to print that. So what have you done? You're actually tracing, isn't it? How it is working. That is, this loop itself, you have traced it for the each value of your I, okay, or you can say for each iteration of your I. That is what you understand by tracing. Tracing can be used to track the flow of execution logic and data modifications. So ഇവിടെ എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി ഐയുടെ വാല്യൂ 1 ആയിരിക്കണം, I less than 3 ആയിരിക്കണം. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ ഞാൻ ലൂപ്പിന്റെ അകത്ത് പോകത്തുള്ളൂ. So I've been tracking the flow of my execution logic, and when I compare this with what output that I want, if it is not correct, what I do is I'll perform modification within my for loop itself. So that is what you understand by tracing. The control flow can be traced at different levels of detail. That is, you can have it in your procedure. Procedure basically your normal set of instructions that you have. You can have it in your branching statements or individual instructions. So you can check the control flow at different levels of detail. That was all about your tracing. Now, the second function which is provided by your debugging is called as trace back. What is it? It is trace back. Imagine that you have done a set of operation. You have separate branches. Okay, so you have reached a particular point. So how do you, that is, I have reached from this particular node, I have reached from this particular node, I've reached from this particular node. So that is said to be called as trace back. You're trying to find out from which particular way you came. I mean, in which way did you reach this particular point? That is said to be called as trace back. It can show the path by which the current statement in the program was actually reached. It can also show which statements have modified a given variable or a parameter. That is, ഈ ഒരു procedure നമുക്ക് അറിയാൻ പറ്റും ഏത് particular statement കാരണമാണ് എൻ്റെ ഒരു particular variable value തന്നെ change ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എൻ്റെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു specific parameter ഉണ്ടോ അത് എന്തിനാ modify ആയത്. Maybe because of an execution of an if statement or a conditional statement there. The statements are displayed rather than in hexadecimal displacements. Normally, what they do is they try to show you the statement which have affected the execution. Next is the program display capabilities. ഒരു debugger ആവുമ്പോൾ, when you have a debugger should have good program display capabilities. Now, when you talk about good display capabilities, the program being debugged, it should be displayed completely with statement numbers. If you see most of your this thing, you have your statement numbers 1, 2, 3, and whenever you have error വരുമ്പം താഴെ കാണിക്കുന്ന എന്താണ് line number. This is said to be having this particular type of error. So in that way you get to know, okay, ഈ ഒരു particular line ലാണ് problem വന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. That is why we say that you should have a proper program display capability where each line of code or each statement should be given a number. The program may be displayed as originally written or with macro expansion. So നമുക്ക് program display ചെയ്യാൻ രണ്ട് options ഉണ്ട്. And we already spoke about macros, isn't it? So നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് ഇത് നമ്മളെ program എങ്ങനെയാ എഴുതിയിട്ടുള്ള അങ്ങനെ കാണിക്കാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മാക്രോസിനെ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വേണമെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് നമ്മളെ പ്രോഗ്രാമിനെ കാണിക്കാം. So in either way you can display your programs. Now, keeping track of any changes which is made to the program during the debugging session. That is, normally what happens is, for example, if you have some variables and constants, okay, so you are trying to display or modify the contents of any variables or constants in the program. you should be able to see those changes. Okay, you should be able to keep a track of what is being modified during the debugging session, and you should be able to know what the values of your variables and constants are. And after these changes have been made, you can resume your execution. A debugging system should consider the language in which the program being debugged is written. So debugging എന്നൊരു concept പറഞ്ഞാൽ it is not something which belongs to a particular language, isn't it? നമ്മളിപ്പം ഏത് ലാംഗ്വേജിൽ നമ്മൾ പ്രോഗ്രാം എഴുതിയാലും we write programs in different languages. But what is the main functionality of debugging? The main functionality of debugging is to find the errors, to find whether proper execution of your program is said to be taking place or not. That is the main functionality. So, ഇപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് നേരത്തെ ഞാൻ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് when I taught you, I said whenever we write a software, a system software, it should be a kind of, it should be either, it should be general, that is, it can be used with any languages, any programming languages, or it has to be specific, or it has to be specific. That is, either it is said to be language dependent or it can be language independent. When I say it is language dependent, the debugger will only work for that particular language. Our particular language maatrame work cheyatullu because it knows the syntax and rules of only that particular language. But when we talk about a debugger which is general, that is, it can be used with any programming language. Another case varuvaanengi, there you cannot, there the debugger will have to know the syntax and rules of all the languages. ഏത് language ആണെങ്കിലും ആ ഓരോ ലാംഗ്വേജിന്റെ സിൻടാക്സും റൂൾസ് അത് അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം. For example, in one of the languages you may be writing, you may write an instruction like move 3.5 to A. Okay. വേറൊരു ലാംഗ്വേജിൽ ഇതേ ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷന് നമുക്ക് ഡയറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് എഴുതാം A is equal to 3.5. So these are the instructions. What does it mean? That is, you have to actually I have to assign the value 3.5. So in one language, I can write it as A is equal to 3.5. In another language, I write it as move 3.5 to A. So what am I doing here? I'm doing the same thing, but it is written in two different syntax, isn't it? So my debugger should have a capability of understanding these two statements. Okay. So adana vendi, how does it do? How does it do? If this is an example of just two languages. If I'm creating a single debugger, which is meant for all the programming languages, അങ്ങനത്തെ കേസിൽ വരുമ്പം ഞാൻ എന്താ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? My compiler, or you can say your assembler, they are supposed to be providing some kind of help to your debugging system. Okay, who is supposed to help? Your compiler, okay, or your assembler. It is supposed to provide the help to your debugging system. It is supposed to be providing help to your debugging system. So how does it do? ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് എന്താണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ കമ്പൈലർ അസംബ്ലി എന്താ ചെയ്യണം? നമ്മൾ പ്രോഗ്രാമിനെ മൊത്തം നോക്കിയിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഇന്റർമീഡിയറ്റ് ഫോമിൽ എഴുതി വെക്കും. ഇറ്റ് വിൽ കൺവേർട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ ടു ആൻ ഇന്റർമീഡിയറ്റ് ഫോം. And you know, ഏത് ലാംഗ്വേജ് ആണെങ്കിലും intermediate form is going to be common for all the languages. So the compiler or the assembler, it will be converting the source language into a standard intermediate form. Please remember the term that I've used, standard intermediate form. So a standard intermediate form will convert ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് if I give it to a debugger, then things becomes more easier. Then things becomes more easier. That is one way of resolving a problem for a debugger which is to be used for all the languages. Okay, that is one way of solving the problem. The second way, it says that in your compiler assembler, you can have your modules of debugging system. You can have modules of debugging system. Okay, modules in the sense അതിന്റെ functionalities provide ചെയ്യുന്ന functions. അത് നമുക്ക് അതിൽ കമ്പൈലർ അസംബ്ലറിൽ തന്നെ ഇൻബിൽട്ട് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യാം. So wherever it is required, it can take the help of a compiler and do its debugging process. So that is how we solve the issues in a single debugger, which is said to be used for all the programming languages. But if you're using a debugger for a particular language, these things needn't be done because our debugger obviously either language design ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള അതിനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള syntax and rules correct ആയിട്ട് അറിയാൻ പറ്റും. Okay. Now the next problem it comes is the debugging system should be able to deal with optimized code. Okay, it has to deal with optimized code. Now what do you mean by optimized code? I'm sorry. When you talk about optimized code in the paradigm, if I write a program, see, I already said to write a program, if each person has his or her own logic. But when you give it for deployment, they always look which is the best program. നമുക്ക് program എഴുതാൻ പറ്റും, but അതിൽ നമ്മൾ program എഴുതുമ്പം ഇപ്പം ഒരു small example. Yesterday I was watching a video in which it was showing Google's search engine എങ്ങനെയാണ് അവർ ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട്. So in that they were saying that every day children, they come out with new algorithm for implementing the search. നിങ്ങൾ ഈ Google ഇരുന്ന് search ചെയ്യുന്നത് every day they have to come up with a new search algorithm, and before they deploy it they always try to test and debug it. But they were saying that നമ്മളൊരു particular algorithm എഴുതിയാലും maybe it is a very good algorithm, it may be a very good algorithm which they have implemented, but it takes a lot of time. Okay, it takes a lot of time. So when it takes a lot of time, it is whenever we deploy something, we need the result to be fast. You cannot make people wait for the result to come. കുഞ്ഞു കുഞ്ഞു കാര്യത്തിന് വേണ്ടി തന്നെ there are a lot of issues which comes up, so you cannot make people wait. If you make people wait, they will not take your service. So അവിടെയാണ് നമുക്ക് ഓപ്റ്റിമൈസേഷൻ്റെ ആവശ്യം വരുന്നത്. So what does optimization actually require? Optimization നിങ്ങൾ already പഠിച്ചതാണ് compiler-ലൊക്കെ. What is happening in optimization? So main idea, some people have a habit of writing for loop like for I is equal to 1, okay? I less than 3 plus j plus j into 20 and I plus plus, where your j value is 3, it is not changing, okay? So this particular expression which is there, where it is like you could have done it earlier. You don't have to execute this particular statement whenever you're going to execute your for statement. For statement ഓരോ iteration വേണ്ടി ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ ഈ calculation ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. അതിന് എനിക്ക് നേരത്തെ തന്നെ for loopന്റെ മുമ്പ് എനിക്ക് ചെയ്ത് വയ്ക്കാമായിരുന്നു. So that is a kind of optimization you can say. Okay, I can reduce the number of executions that involves this particular computation. പിന്നെ രണ്ടാമത്തെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എനിക്കിപ്പം for loop തന്നെ ഞാൻ രണ്ട് for loops എഴുതുക. Okay, but there is a provision by looking at the statements. I can combine these two for loops into a single for loop. I can combine them as a single for loop. So that is also a way of optimization. Then maybe നമുക്കിപ്പം തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന blocks of statements നമുക്ക് അതിനെ rearrange ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. blocks of statements പറഞ്ഞാൽ this is having a set of statements. ഒരു conditional condition വന്നിട്ടായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ അതിനെ രണ്ട്, ഇപ്പം yes ആണെങ്കിൽ ഈ set of instructions execute ചെയ്യണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ set of instructions execute ചെയ്യണം, പിന്നെ ഇങ്ങനെ. So by making some kind of a modification, you can even rearrange the sequence of your instructions or your blocks. So that is all a part of your optimization. That is all a part of your optimization. But the optimization ചെയ്യുമ്പം ഉള്ള ഒരു വലിയൊരു problem, okay, this has a problem with your debugging system. നമ്മൾ normally debugging എപ്പോഴാ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? It is done on the original program. It is done on the original code. And it is something which is done before optimization. If you look into your compiler also, you can see that debugging is something which is set to be done before your optimization of your code is set to be performed. നമ്മളിപ്പം debugging ചെയ്ത് എന്താ പറഞ്ഞ, if you try to rearrange your code execution എല്ലാം നമ്മൾ അതിന്റെ എന്താ പറഞ്ഞ അതിന്റെ കോഡിന്റെ നമ്മളിപ്പം പറഞ്ഞ modifications പറഞ്ഞത് ആ optimization if we perform those optimizations, what is it going to do? It is going to affect, okay, it is going to affect my tracing and traceback and the breakpoints ഞാൻ implement ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള അതെല്ലാം എൻ്റെ effect ആവും. So that is a problem which is associated with your optimization of your code when you are doing your debugging before your optimization. Now next problem comes is storage of variables. Storage of variables. When a program is translated, the compiler assigns a home location in memory for each variable. I have already previously told you that whenever we execute a program, okay, whenever we execute a program, it is brought from the hard disk to your main memory. നമ്മൾ ആ പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്റെ മെയിൻ മെമ്മറിയിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ എക്സിക്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. And you know that whenever we bring program into main memory, നമ്മൾ അവിടെ ഓരോ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടു how we are allocating memory to different variables. ഓരോ variables നമ്മളൊരു memory location allocate ചെയ്യും, which is said to be called its home location. Now when you start your execution, നമ്മൾ ഓരോ statement എടുത്തിട്ട് അതിന്റെ execution start ചെയ്യുമ്പം അതിനെ ഡീകോഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്ന ആർക്കാണ് we give it to the CPU. When we give it to the CPU ന് ആവശ്യമുള്ള data is always stored in the nearest memory space. Which is the nearest memory space of a CPU? It is said to be called as the registers. It is said to be called as the registers. So those data, instead of storing them in the memory, main memory, that is your RAM, instead of that, it is being stored in the registers which are inside, which are said to be much closer to your CPU. Okay, your processing unit. So അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പം whatever changes you are making in the registers is not reflected in your home location. So whatever changes you're making in your registers is not reflected in the home location and vice versa also. Debugging ചെയ്യുമ്പം എനിക്ക് ഞാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു modification home locationൽ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ that will not be reflected in the registers because already for the execution of that instruction the data has been loaded from the home location to the registers. ഓക്കെ അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പം എന്താ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത് ഇവിടെയുള്ള ഡേറ്റ ആൻഡ് നമ്മൾ ഹോം ലൊക്കേഷനിലുള്ള ഡേറ്റ എന്താണ് ദേ ആർ കൺസിഡർഡ് ടു ബി ഇൻകൺസിസ്റ്റന്റ് ബിക്കോസ് ദേ ആർ ഡിഫറെന്റ് ഫ്രം ഈച്ച് അതർ ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ ദാറ്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റ്സ് എ പ്രോബ്ലം ഫ്രോം മൈ ഡീബഗിംഗ് പ്രോസസ്. So variable values can be temporarily held in registers to improve the speed of access. Now, if the user changes the value of a variable in the home location while the debugging, the modified value might not be used by the program. So debugging ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഇവിടെ home locationൽ മാറ്റം വരുത്തുമ്പം that particular value will not be available in your registers. Why? Because I have already taken that instruction from my memory, I have decoded it and I have stored the values for my access, immediate access ന് വേണ്ടി I have stored it in my registers. സോ എന്തിനാണ് ഞാൻ പിന്നെ ഇവിടെ എപ്പോഴും പോയി ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യം? ഓൾറെഡി എനിക്ക് ആവശ്യമുള്ള സാധനം ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ എടുത്ത് വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ തിരിച്ചു പോയി നോക്കത്തില്ല. But when debugging is taking place, it is in the home location that the correction is said to be taking place. So that causes a lot of inconsistency. So the debugging of optimized code, it requires a lot of cooperation from the optimized compiler. So whenever you have to perform debugging of an optimized code, there has to be help which is coming from the optimized compiler. Now, what is it actually? The compiler, actually, it has to retain, okay, it has to retain any changes that has been made to the program. So എന്തെങ്കിലും ചേഞ്ച് നമ്മളെ പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതിനെ റീറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യണം ആൻഡ് റീറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ട് it should provide it to whom? It should provide that change to the debugger as well as to the programmer who is sitting there. ഇപ്പം നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും when you run a program, okay, when you run a program and it is already saved, it's a saved program, automatic ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് run ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. Okay, you can feed in the input and you can get the corresponding output. There is no problem to it. But then if you see ഞാനിപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാമിനെ previously save ചെയ്ത പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു മോഡിഫിക്കേഷൻ വരുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചു. Modification വരുത്തിയിട്ട് before saving that code, okay, if somebody has used, I do not know whether you have studied Java. As far as I remember, you must have studied Java. Java, if you make use of Eclipse IDE, now what happens there is നമുക്ക് run ചെയ്യുമ്പം already if you have written a program and you have saved it, okay, and again if you make a modification and you don't save that program and you go and give the run command, your compiler gives you a message saying that you have made a change in your program. Do you want to work with the previous version of the program or with the current version of the program? So that kind of information has to be provided to the programmer so that the programmer understands, okay, there has been some change which has been made to my program. Okay, so on the basis, the same way, I was trying to give, I was trying to supplement with an example actually. So whenever I'm talking in terms of optimized compiler, whenever a change is said to be taking place in the home location or any change the compiler is said to be making in the program, all those information has to be retained by the compiler and it should be provided to both the debugger as well as the programmer. Okay.